Welcome. Joe Volpe on behalf of Corcan Media Group and Go Live TV, and obviously for Corriere Canadese, North America's only Italian language daily newspaper. We're going to be treating with issues of immigration which are so much in vogue today. So the title is Emigration, One Man's Loss is Another Man's Gain. Now, insight, interest, and decisiveness are the essence of the determination that allows societies to turn disadvantage to gain, even if it means to profit from another man's misfortune. As it is in life, so it is in matters of national interest. A study released in Italy last Wednesday by SVMETS, an organization that tracks and analyzes economic and social trends, in particular specific to southern Italy, has some disturbing data for Canadian policymakers and legislative leaders. It could not have been more timely, given the issues of migration, refugees, economic displacement that are so in vogue in our limited little market. And startling in the context of the implications of the report by the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives, CCPA, as reported in these pages by Francesco Veronesi last Wednesday. The CCPA deplored the growing disparity between rich and not so rich. In fact, the top 87 Canadian families in the country have a total net worth equal to the combined economic worth of the bottom 33% of our population. That's 12 million of our 36 million inhabitants. Canada, our land, is a land of opportunity, but some beg to differ. Atlantic Canadians consistently fare more poorly on the wealth index than the rest of us. Those same 87 families, some of them from those Atlantic provinces, are as rich as the entire population of New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia combined. Why do these Canadians endure such disparity? Well, they don't. They clamor for and demand government infrastructure programs that aim at some sort of income stability and others that promote mobility of goods, services, and people. People. The population is in decline. Deaths are beginning to outnumber live births. People leave. They immigrate. There is no one to replace them. In Italy, the divide is not east-west, but north-south. The problems are similar, even if rooted in internal political history that goes back centuries. According to SVMETS, and as reported by Francesco Veronesi last week, people can only take so much. In fact, in the last 16 years, more than 1.8 million residents picked up and left, an average of 112,500 people per year. A full 50% of them were young, well-educated, well-trained, talented, anxious to build a future. But they're leaving home to do it. They're not coming to Canada. Over the last 10 years, 250,000 of them went to England, London, 150 to France, about 100,000 to Germany, an equivalent number in the USA and Australia. Heck, they're even going to and are welcome in places like South Africa, Singapore, China, not Canada. Over the last 10 years, a mere 6,424 have been landed here, 640 per year. It's not difficult to arrive at any other conclusion than the obvious one. Canadian governments don't want those 112,500 per year. They can't speak English. Or more specifically, they can't satisfy the English competency tests for entry. Here's a word. They can speak work. Canadian governments, and no partisanship intended, seem fixated on other priorities. Over the last 3 years at least, immigration would appear to be confused with refugees and perceived multilateral obligations requiring us to help those most in need. The ones that are recognized as such by the United Nations or who appear unannounced on our borders. It is little wonder that the most frequent refrain uttered when, quote, immigration issues, end of quote, surface, usually runs something like this. And again, quote, let's take care of our own first, end of quote. Populist rhetoric, no denigration implied, whether Italian or local, feasts on the confusion between refugee and immigration. But immigration's a demographic economic consideration, while refugees fall into the category of humanitarian obligations and come with a cost to the host. And they should. Not a hill on which to stake political capital. Italy, already either the oldest or second oldest population in the world, and with a negative population growth, is emigrating its human resources talent. Too bad for her. But Canada needs that resource. It's unclear what Canadian representatives are doing in Rome or what policy advice they are proffering to Canadian governments back home, and in particular to the Minister for Immigration. Here's our advice. Carpe diem. Don't allow this opportunity to pass. For Corcan Media Group, Go Live TV, Corriere Canadese, this is Joe Volpe signing off, inviting you to see us on social media or on Corriere.ca. Until the next time.